Public schools were unpopular at first because some felt it was not their duty to pay for other children's schooling.
However, this viewpoint changed when they decided that if others' children did not get the proper education, they would grow up to be dangerous and destructive.
Tax-supported education was most successful from 1825 to 1850.
The schools, though, were not too fancy. They were usually the traditional red schoolhouse, one room, one teacher, usually male, and as many as 8 grades in one class. School was in session only a few months per year.
They studied the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and there was usually more licking than learning.
Around the time of the Second Great Awakening, many liberal arts colleges were established primarily in the South and West.
These colleges were set up mostly for local pride, not necessarily for advancing education.
Most of these schools still had the traditional curriculum: Latin, Greek, math, and moral philosophy.
In 1795, the first state-supported school in North Carolina federal land grants allowed for this.
The University of Virginia was chartered in 1819 and opened in 1825 in Charlottesville, Virginia.
While UNC was the first public university in America, UVA was the first public university in America to offer an arts and science curriculum.
Thomas Jefferson founded University of Virginia. He designed the architecture and organized the school's curriculum.
He believed that there should be free grammar through university schooling, and that those who excel in school, no matter what their social or economic class, should be the leaders of America. Meanwhile, Thomas Jefferson also believed in incorporating academics into the military.
In 1802, during his administration and an act of Congress, it founded West Point, the first ever military academy.
The academy offered rigorous military training and a commission in the regular army to cadets from across the United States. Jefferson believed the army needed a trained group of officers schooled in engineering and artillery, around which future armies could form in times of crisis, and he hoped that academy graduates trained as engineers, cartographers, and surveyors might assist in the exploration and settlement of the expanding republic.
Thomas Jefferson went so far to call it a peace academy because of its academic values.
Antebellum schools that adopted the West Point model in full or part included privately owned Norwich University, which established a corps of cadets in 1819, and the state-supported Virginia Military Institute, founded in 1839. It was not until 1845 that Congress established the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis, Maryland.
Similar academies followed at the state and local levels all across America. This trend was especially strong in the South, where a powerful military tradition and the persistent fear of the slave uprising generated support for the state schools that included military training.
While military academies had found their own niche in the antebellum history, universities and college for higher education were popping up everywhere across the country.
Colleges like Harvard and Yale had the traditional curriculum, but the atheist enlightenment made the curriculum shy away from putting main emphasis on traditional languages. These ideas led to more reform post-Civil War.
Horace Mann and Henry Barnard were well-known and influential supporters of the common school movement.
This movement supported the idea that all elementary-age white children should have a public education provided to them.
Their education would be supervised by the state and regulated by state boards of education.
In 1837, Mann became the first secretary of the Massachusetts Board of Education. He remained secretary until 1848.
He increased public interest in public schools, and his work helped to increase the salary of teachers.
Public schools were most common in the New England area. Samuel Howe was a prominent 19th century United States physician, abolitionist, and an advocate of education for the blind.
Howe also brought about the establishment of the Massachusetts School for Idiotic Children, the Western Hemisphere's oldest publicly funded institution serving the mentally disabled. He founded the school in 1848 with a $2,500 appropriation from the Massachusetts legislature.
As school attendance began increasing, mass teaching supplies also began to develop.
From the 1700s through the early 1800s, main teaching supplies included the Bible and Noah Webster's American Spelling Book.
Webster's books provided a more uniform spelling, pronunciation, and writing.
He was a past teacher and lawyer, and always had an interest in higher education.
He wrote an American dictionary of the English language.
This dictionary included words from literature and everyday speech, and even provided many meanings for a single word.
McGuffey was a university professor who was a great promoter of public education.
He was the author of Eclectic Readers. His readers replaced Webster's spelling book.
They included illustrations of many subjects, including art, philosophy, economics, history, science, and other subjects new and exciting to elementary age students.
McGuffey's readers were popular until the end of the 1800s.
During the antebellum period, there was a notable and historic increase in the number of female teachers.
This was a huge step in the struggle for gender equality.
Men were expected to go to school while women had to fight to even attend.
The education of women outside of household duties in any form had been frowned upon until the early 19th century.
Around 1820, secondary schools for women began showing up. However, these were still more focused on domestic skills. In 1821, Emma Willard established the Middlebury Female Seminary.
She was disguising the real teachings of the college with the name seminary, implying they taught domestic skills,
However, the seminary taught a male's college curriculum.
teaching classical and scientific studies.
The only way she could get the funding was to disguise her college as a seminary.
Men were in charge of the government and the funding her school received. Because these men were annoyed with women pushing for more rights, she knew if she told them the real mission of the school, they would be angry and stop supporting it.
Despite the secrecy, the popularity and curriculum of Willard's school soon expanded.
Emma continued to crusade for women's education and later opened the Troy Female Seminary.
The Troy Female Seminary was the world's first female academy, and the first to teach women science, philosophy, history, etc.
She was also the first to suggest student government.
Willard wrote textbooks and developed new teaching methods, and as well as helping along the cause of gender equality. However, despite all the progress made by Willard, another feminist and educator, Mary Lyon, felt that even more needed to be done.
She wanted nothing less than equal opportunities for women in higher education, so she trudged through the towns of Massachusetts, knocking on every door asking other women to help. Accepting gifts as small as 6 cents, she eventually collected enough money to build the first women's college in the United States.
She became the first woman named to the Hall of Fame for Great Americans.
One of the most important aspects of the antebellum period was the increasing availability of reading materials. Improvements in the printing press triggered the rise in periodicals and the penny press. The establishment of free public education and libraries provided ready access to all types of literature. This rise in public literature was made ready to people through public libraries, which were primarily funded by universities and local governments. It is this period in the United States history that was the most formative in creating standards of education which led to the country becoming one of the richest and most powerful a century later.